Nintendo is really no stranger to stepping out of their comfort zone when it comes to their IPs. Remember the Mario cereal? And the whole Nintendo theme park sort of thing they opened recently? And the Donkey Kong Country TV show? I admit some of their projects were better than others, and with the release of the Mario movie in April, Nintendo really is trying to conquer all corners of the market, because why wouldn't they? One of Nintendo's most popular franchises has to be Animal Crossing. Its most recent release in 2020, god that was 3 years ago. Oh my, saw it become the Switch's second best-selling game, even more than Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. Animal Crossing as a series began in the early 2000s. After its release in Japan, it later got released around the world. The franchise focuses around moving to a quiet and humble town where you can meet villagers, catch fish and bugs, buy clothes, buy furniture, a true life simulator game. But of all the Nintendo games to make a movie about, I don't think Animal Crossing would really be at the top of my list. I mean, I've been an Animal Crossing fan for like 10 years, and the game is so personalized that making it into a movie would be a weird decision. And then Nintendo made a movie about it in 2006. The Animal Crossing movie was released only in Japan in December of 2006, only 5 years after the creation of the series, and only 2 games into the franchise. For a game that's so personalized, how did they pull off a movie? Well, I watched it. Let's see how they did it. First off, I will be showing clips from the fan-dubbed version of these movies, since the original Japanese version never got an English release. But I won't be critiquing the voices or anything in this video. That would be very harsh and mean towards these people. Plus, they all do a very good job anyway, so there's nothing to critique. The movie begins in the same way the games do, with a human villager being driven to their new home. It's a very nice, serene opening that really captures the Animal Crossing games. And this is Ai, the generic protagonist of the movie, and I keep saying her name is AI throughout this script. I apologize if I do that. She arrives at Town Hall, meets the mayor, and is immediately forced into voting for him in the upcoming elections. Well, that happened quick. Ai, who is now a liberal, is sent to Tom Nook's shop to pick up the keys for her new house. Tom Nook immediately gets Ai to work a delivery job because not even Animal Village can escape from capitalism. I need to say that this movie was based off the original Animal Crossing game for the GameCube. I've never played that one, but I've seen people play it. And this exact thing happens in the tutorial of the game, so hooray for dead-end jobs.
Working?
Ai is also very relatable. She'd make a good YouTuber. She begins her job delivering all kinds of packages to the locals. She delivers clothes, food, ancient artifacts, you know, the average things that you buy on eBay. And Tom Nook tells her that this is a way to introduce herself to the residents. The Animal Crossing games have like so many villagers, so they had to use the designs that really stood out. Ai also meets this dude named Yu that's from another village who really likes insects, so I guess he's also there. This film has a lot of characters in it, and I don't blame you if you forget one or two, because I did even while writing the script and rewatching the movie. Ai continues her job the next day as she travels to Apollo's house, but then Ninja Boy accidentally knocks her into Apollo's flower bed of blue roses. Blue roses are like the toughest flower to get, so I would absolutely be pissed if this were me. Anyway, Rossetti, this loud mole dude from the game, shows up and tells her off, but also gives her advice on where to find Apollo since he isn't home. She then ends up at the museum where she meets Blathers and Celeste, even more characters. They're the brother and sister who owns the museum. They start talking about T-Rexes, which is great because, you know, that's my whole persona kind of thing, you know, Dino the T-Rex, that's me. I've played too much Animal Crossing anyway, I knew I'd show up in this movie eventually. Ai is then guided towards the cafe where she meets Apollo, who is extremely depressed for unknown reasons. There's so many relatable characters in this movie. She hands him the package, which is probably a depression medication, and admits she broke his flowers. He then leaves. What a guy. As Ai struggles to carry her bike, Margie shows up and helps her because finally somebody in this town, it was nice to her for once, really emulates the villagers in the game that would roast the hell out of you for no reason. They stop on the way to eat cherries and bond. Margie's a designer and often shares designs at the local clothes shop. She then shares her dreams to Ai, and Ai responds with,
That's dreaming so big.
Yeah, stop having such unrealistic expectations about your life, Dumbo. Ai finds a message in a bottle, probably a threat from Apollo to get revenge for ruining his flowers. I know that's what I would do. She actually gets a lot of these messages throughout the film, and they all try to hint at her to do things before the Winter Festival happens, like planting trees. And also they go to find fossils in a cave, and they all nearly, die. which isn't so accurate to the game. That's closer to Stardew Valley. After that near-death experience, they finally get to relax at KK Slider's concert. Margie requests KK Bossa, which means she's an elephant of taste because KK Bossa is a jam. I keeps telling Margie that her fashion designing is amazing and relates her dreams of becoming a designer to baking a cherry pie. Because, you know, cherries, they bonded over cherries earlier and made cherry pie. And also Red shows up in the town to scam kids. He's such a good guy. Margie repays I's very kind compliments by ditching the town and not telling I, but still expecting her to show up to the goodbye party. I only finds out that Margie moved because Rosie tells her. Animal Crossing, the game where you lose any friends you make. In this way, it's actually quite similar to the games because if you forgot to play for like 3 days, one of your favourite villagers could have moved out and you would have had no way of stopping them and you would have had no idea. She then falls in a pitfall. I think the writers were just like, what other horrible Animal Crossing related things can we make her go through, and just tossed more ideas into the movie. I'm surprised she wasn't attacked by a shark or a scorpion or something. A now depressed I walks into the cafe again with a mellow, somber piano music playing in the background.
The usual blend.
A whiskey on the rocks. As Brewster makes the coffee, KK Bossa starts playing over the speakers and it shows a montage of the great times I and Margie spent together. I admire how ambitious this movie is, trying to fit in all the Animal Crossing-isms and all the many characters, but I feel like this whole movie would have been a little bit better as a series. That way the relationship between everyone is better in terms of layout. It felt like the two really only met in the movie, and now they're having a montage of stuff they did off-screen. But Margie leaving for fashion designer purposes gets the plot going, so I can't really complain. I mean, I can really complain, but a YouTuber complaining about a movie doesn't seem too innovative. Anyway, Whitney tries to... oh, by the way, Whitney is Apollo's ex and is also a distinguished lady who need no man. Whitney tries to get I to believe in herself.
You need to believe in yourself more.
Believe in myself?
Believe in myself? I've never had to do that. So then she leaves and goes for a long walk on the beach, and there she spots a walrus dying of starvation. And so she feeds him to make sure he doesn't do that. He does nearly choke to death though.
When I get hungry, I get depressed.
Was this movie written by God? How does every single character have a relatable quirk that people can relate to? I then gets a letter from Margie. In the letter she explains that she would have been too upset to tell her in person. Okay, sorry, that picture made me laugh for some reason. I think it'd be funny if I didn't forgive her at all and just hung the picture up on a dartboard or something. Rosie comes by to check up on I, but in the sky some big rocks start to fly. As they watch the meteor shower, KK Bossa plays again. I know it's a good song, I said that earlier, and it's a good one, but even I'm surprised at how much this song showed up in this movie. It's now many months later in the winter time. Anyway, turns out the messages in the bottles were messages from an alien to get Rosie to plant trees in specific spots around the village. I really only realised it was aliens when Rosie says,
Don't spend your whole day studying aliens and shooting stars!
yeah, okay, I guess aliens is what she's studying. I can live with that. Mortimer keeps plastering his face over everything too, so he'll win the election. The funniest part of this is that he literally has no opposition. Nobody is running against him.
The messages in the bottles are probably just a practical joke. And to think that I thought this whole time UFOs sent them.
This too would be my reaction to that information. I mean, of course there's no such a thing as UFO. What in Christ, it's a UFO! Everybody run for your life! So the UFO crashes in Animal Village, and everyone goes to check it out. The entire town tries to look for the missing parts of his spaceship.
This guy's pretty suspicious.
As they're trying to get back into the cave where all the fossils were, Margie returns because it's winter, I guess, and she says Christmas is a time for friends and family to gather together, and she helps them retrieve the last part they need. But then, out of the sky, even more UFOs show up and beam up one of the parts and leaves an image of Shrek in the sky. This movie's the gift that keeps on giving. So I is declared the winner of the Winter Festival for causing a miracle to happen, which I don't know doesn't seem to fit the rules of the Winter Festival, but whatever. But because everyone was so focused on the living miracle that was happening, Mortimer was just allowed to rig the votes, I guess, and won his spot as mayor again. And this seagull guy wasn't actually an alien, but he was posing to be an alien. For some reason. Why not? I think it's cute. He reveals he was the one that sent the messages to I, so he'd look cool while crashing down onto the ground. And that's how the movie ends. Overall, I think this movie was overly ambitious, but to really capture the feeling of an Animal Crossing game, it kinda had to be. Including so many characters and seasons and relationships into one movie is tough. But as a fan of the franchise, this movie was perfect when it came to capturing the world of Animal Crossing. So many details, quirks, and characters are chucked into this film. Some only appear for one scene and they're gone. I didn't even mention Pascal, or the monkey, or Hopper the penguin, who's fishing like throughout the entire film and catches a bike. I didn't mention any of them in this video because they weren't even plot relevant, they were just sort of in the background. But I think this is a good way of displaying someone's first experiences with the game. Things can overwhelm you at first, but getting to know people and creating bonds can really help you deal with things. The movie does have its deeper meanings and lessons, much like the game, and the visuals of this movie are mind-blowingly good. I did not expect to be so blown away by anything, but the extreme levels of detail in these visuals makes this film a brilliant one to watch. And to showcase that, I think it's fitting to show you some of my favourite shots while KK Bossa plays. It's what Margie would have wanted.